All right, let's talk about Mike White. And there was, some good and bad in the performance from Mike White. I know you look at the overall numbers and all that stuff, and you're probably going to be disappointed, but there's a lot of context you have to make sure that you're paying attention to here. So let's talk about all the context and everything. It's let's start off with this play. Zone coverage play. You see the way this concept works, and this is the kind of stuff I love from Mike White. He's just so good at this, and again, it's perfect for this offense that wants to see this kind of stuff, where the way the play is designed is it's designed to get the halfback the ball. You have one receiver. You have actually three eligible receivers lined up to Mike White's left, but only one wide receiver there. You have a tight end and a halfback as the other two. So the wide receiver runs kind of a route getting over the middle, and that's going to take away a lot more attention than one receiver ordinarily would, because he's the only guy there. So then you put a halfback behind him, he goes in that direction, hopefully he can get open, you gain some yards that way. But watch, when this play begins, it doesn't work out that great, right? I mean, okay, you can definitely make the throw, but I don't know, this is risky. I wonder if the halfback was maybe supposed to get a little bit further out at this point, potentially. You do have an edge rusher who could potentially run over and knock the ball away. Also, Buffalo didn't fully get sold on the Davis route, kind of getting further deep, so there wasn't a ton of space there as well. So on top of this, it's dangerous. You never want to throw it to a guy in your own end zone in general, typically. So Mike White, I think, a lot of quarterbacks would kind of struggle in this spot. Mike White, I think, does a much better job. Watch him get over to another read, and granted, doesn't make a perfect throw, and still probably should have been caught, but regardless, it is incomplete there. So there is that negative, but there's the positive that I like, and that's what I wanted to show this play, is that beginning of just being able to read something, not like it. And again, maybe you like that play. Maybe you think he should have made that throw. But the main point is being able to recognize quickly, don't love that play, I'm going to go somewhere else, especially when you're in your own end zone and guys really panic there. Mike White stays calm. Now, this was the stuff that wasn't great, is, we kind of speculated, okay, going up against Buffalo, they're going to play some man coverage. This could be an issue. And Mike White has actually performed solid against man coverage so far this season, I would say. But still, we've seen the Jets as a team struggle with it. Bills will throw us at at opposing teams. Definitely gonna put it at the Jets, and it worked really in this game. It did. That was the main way they won. It's 3rd down and 4 here for Mike White. As you see, White takes the snap. You're going to see him look down the field. He fires down the field. And right here, there's a bit of separation here. There is. I wonder if this is a communication thing or something. Because, look, the throw is definitely behind, and it is going to not be a completion there on 3rd down and 4. Just stuff like that. Kind of, maybe this miscommunication stuff, but also guys not getting open. Maybe Mike White missing some throws. Against man coverage was not perfect. That was a big way the Bills were able to get this victory. Another thing is something like this, where we can kind of talk about just as a whole, this kind of stuff, where it's a 2nd down and 9 here. I think this is a good time just to talk about kind of the concept as a whole and the strategy as a whole that the Jets like to run, which is this very methodical, move the ball down the field, dink and dunk kind of offense, which, listen, sometimes you have to do it. I don't necessarily hate the strategy for the Jets in doing it, but as a whole, you want to get explosives. You want to be able to push the ball down the field to some degree, because if you can't, it really puts you in a bind where, 2nd down and 9 right here, they're going to run the ball. As you see, Mike White hands it off, and it just does not go for anything there. So, okay, not ideal. You would have liked to see that go for more yards, obviously. Puts you in a tough spot. But for a team like the Jets, in this game especially, it puts them in a much more difficult spot. Because, look, now you're here, so you lost the 2 yards. It's now a 3rd down and 11, and the Jets just don't really have many get 11 yards type of plays, which is definitely a concern here. In fact, their concept is, something you'd see on like a 1st down and 10 as opposed to a 3rd down and 11 situation. It's 3rd and 11. It's not 3rd and 20. You think that most teams would have a play that can get you 11 yards. This play, it's a, you see the concept. You have 2 receivers run deeper routes, and then a tight end is going to kind of run underneath. White takes the snap, and his read all the way was that tight end. He looked over the middle kind of to draw people away, but he was thrown to the tight end that entire play. And I paused it right here. I mean, realistically, what's going to happen here? This is not going to get you a 1st down. This is a difficult spot to be in. As you see, Buffalo comes up and they make the tackle. That was not going to get a 1st down right there. So kind of this is a good example of just, I'm not even saying it's a bad strategy. I think it's a fine strategy for the Jets to do, given the personnel they have. But it's just the predicament that the Jets are in my opinion, is this is kind of just how they have to run their offense. And there's some issues. When Mike White got sacked, that tended to kill a drive. A holding penalty would kill a drive. I mean, they weren't able to rebound as well as, a team like the Kansas City might be able to, right? They're just two different teams. And that being said, for the most part, I would still say I liked what I saw from Mike White in this one. I would still say this was a solid performance. I think that, it's a big question coming into this game of, I had a big question of if Mike White comes in here and completely sucks, like, we saw him do last year when he played Buffalo, would that be something where teams would maybe say, okay, do we go back to Zach Wilson? Is there a conversation there? I think I was saying if he gets past this game, there's no conversation. He's the starter the rest of the way. He got past this game, played solid. He's the starter the rest of the way. And I think should be, because there's stuff like this where it's a man coverage play. White takes the snap. He's going to look down the field. You see Garrett Wilson is just getting into his break right now. So, okay. Again, when to make a throw, has the leverage to make it a good angle throw from Mike White, but still, where are you going to put it? Well, watch White's throw, and it's just exactly where Garrett Wilson could make the catch and keep moving, and that allowed Wilson to then make a move after the catch and turn what would have been, maybe a 3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 6 situation into a 1st down. So that's exactly what you hope can happen, and it was entirely set up due to a good throw from Mike White. So this is the kind of stuff that you just like to see from a guy like Mike White, and it's, to me, this is the kind of stuff where I'm still relatively optimistic about the Jets' chances this year. I think that Mike White should be able to just run the offense effectively, because at the end of the day, you're playing a good football team. You are. You're playing Buffalo. They are very good. It's not, it's a bit of a tough situation going in there for Mike White. I think the Jets, their situation that they have and, their receiving core and all that stuff has definitely been much improved from this year to last year, or I guess I should say from last year to this year. I still don't know if I would consider it elite or anything like that. There still is some issues there. So it's not a perfect situation, but I think he can do just enough. And I think it's not the worst situation either for the Jets. Not the easiest of schedules down the stretch. I mean, they have a couple easy games, but they play the Lions next week, which is, I would say no easy feat. Then they play the Jaguars and the Seahawks the following 2 weeks, which I think I'll have them favored in both of those games, but definitely could go the other way in either of those 2 games. Those 2 teams have shown to be a bit better than we thought they'd be heading into this year. And then Miami, week 18. So, I personally, when I picked all the games, I have them going 9-8. That would be enough to make the playoffs as the 7 seed right there. But still, that's not an ideal scenario. They got some tough games, and if they lose one of those, I'd have them falling out of the playoffs. So they definitely have to make sure that they at least go 2-2 down the stretch. But I think they will. I think they will. I expect them to be able to still find a way to make the postseason. That's kind of just the way that I view things. And yeah, for Mike White, I think he's the guy. I think this year you're living with Mike White or you're dying with Mike White. And man, again, also, I didn't even touch on it in the video, but I feel like it kind of goes without saying, but just the ability that we saw from Mike White to just tough it out and to stay out there after taking all those hits. Like, you can argue if it's smart or stupid for him to be doing it, but you know what? I think it's definitely, admirable, and definitely he's going to get his teammates to like him a lot for his willingness to stay out there and keep coming back after taking all those hard hits. So that helps as well, I think. But that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.